Evening, good evening, good evening. Um, we're here to talk about the I would have said performance. I'll say lack of performance against Bournemouth. They've now done us twice, 3-0 at Old Trafford, 2 years running. Yabba and bath time. And guys in the chat, welcome to this somber affair. Bath time. I know you're sick, so I know this game obviously didn't help your whole situation. First things first, how you feeling? Second, just an overview of the game before we deep dive the bullshit.
I don't feel very well. I think I had too many carbs yesterday and too much potatoes, the equivalent of radiation poisoning to someone like me. The game was it was dire. It was it was really really bad. The performance of literally every single player didn't live up to not even a Premier League standard. Um, I'm dreadfully disappointed in them, and I hope they feel as bad as I do.
Yabba, I know you posted a video. I saw your video, and I wanted to send you a hug, boy. How are you, man? I don't suppose your mood's changed too much.
Well, for starters, I mean, we're getting so bad now that Sky don't even want to show us. So I know a lot of people might not have been able to watch the game because it wouldn't have been on sort of normal TV. I did manage to watch the game through means, but I was just like bath time, really deeply disappointed and feel flat at the moment because it's like you take a step forward by beating Man City, and then you come back the following week in the Prem and you lose that badly. We've lost like 3-0 to Spurs, Liverpool, and Bournemouth now at home. And, I've looked back and I think about the Ten Hag era, and I think about the Mourinho and the Oli era, and even the Ralph and David Moyes and all these guys. It's got to stage now where we have to accept that some players, when they reach a level, you lose your hunger somehow. We watched a big fight last night, boxing fight between Fury and Usyk, and I think the reason why Usyk won, not because he's bigger, badder, stronger, but it's because he's professional. And then you see someone like Tyson Fury, who's made it to the top in 2015, beating Vladimir Klitschko, and then he went on a bender because he thought, I've made my money and I can just wing it from now on. And this is what I reminds me of some of the players since Fergie left. They thought they got to Man United, they can just wing it because they think they're there now. It starts once you reach the club. You have to start, performing at a bigger standard, be more professional, and every game just be hungry. And the players are getting exposed time and time again, and managers are getting dropped here, there, and everywhere. Something the culture desperately needs to change, because to lose like that doesn't reflect upon the manager, but it will do eventually. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it did with Ten Hag, like it did with everyone else. It's the players that I would love to really string up right now. If we weren't in that woke era where everyone, you're not too sensitive to sort of tell people off or tell the truth, then I would, there'd be other methods to get the best out of these players, and it's not acceptable. And the manager really, if you're going to change anything about the disappointment of no major trophies in the last 10, 11 years, you need to really change your approach and kick some of these players out of the club.
Wow. I wasn't expecting you to have gone so deep. I thought that was going to come slightly later in this show. But look, let me say a couple of howdies first. V, we've seen your essay, bruv. I ain't reading out all of that. There's absolutely no chance I'm doing that. I'll tell you that straight. I'm not going to even pretend. Yal Marley, I hope you're doing well, man. Mal Min, you lot can read that as well. If you lot don't keep it short, I'm not in the mood to be reading no essays today. Stuff like this, Oyo Savaloid, that's fine. I'll take that. That's easy. Big G again. It was disappointing. I'm not in the mood to be reading essays, man. We got our ass bust and people wanting me to be reading essays out. There's no chance. Agile Beast, I hope you're doing well, man. You lot can read that as well. Bilal, it's a big minus goal difference again. Oh, Christ. It gets worse. Oh, Tyrone's just saying he bought the pay-per-view package. It was well worth the money. Will, I hope you're doing well, man. I'm glad you didn't put good evening in front of that, mate. It's definitely not. Okay. Starting lineup, guys. Happy, disappointed, surprised.
Just query. Can I query something? So what was the back? Because I went walkies with the dogs. I walked in straight at just after minutes after 2. It looked like Delo and Maz were on the same right-hand side. So what was the back three exactly?
Maz, Maguire, Martinez.
Why do you think Maz is there instead of Delo, for example?
Because he's not. He's like, I like Maz as a footballer. I think he's got good character, all that kind of stuff. I don't think he's very good as the right wing back. I think his best performance has come as part of a back three, like kind of stepping into the play, as it were. Like he's often the sort of the free man, so he sort of steps up into those kind of right hand half spaces and so on. Delo is just Delo's just a monster of an athlete, or regardless of everything around him, he can keep that level of physicality that's needed. And we see Maz picks up a couple of knocks and things like that, and he's probably not suited to the extreme running that you need as on that right hand side. So I think that's why.
Okay, makes sense. So I don't think. Remember, I was saying the other week, I think should be 3 centre backs in that position. So when I saw, I was thinking, why put someone like Maz in a back three when you got Euro there? It's time to start playing him or playing 3 centre backs, proper centre backs, because I just think he leaves us weak. We've got Martinez, we've got Maz. I mean, how are we going to defend set pieces? Whoops! Oh, we didn't.
Well, did you see Euro trying to defend the set piece against Spurs?
Yeah, but practice. He's new to the Premier. He's young.
Okay.
I think he's taller. He's stronger. You've got to learn. Yeah,
but he's got the problem that I have with Euro. I like Euro. He's very, very good. It's obvious that it's supremely talented. His footwork is outrageous for a centre back when he's like in duels and things. But he's got to stop winning headers because he's taller. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's got to be able to sort of shove his man about a bit, unbalance them, get his head on it and stuff. And I think that Maz has kind of got that already. Like, we've seen that there's a kind of there's kind of a game plan that a lot of teams are doing against us, which is that they're isolating Martinez in wide areas and then crossing to the opposite back stick. Mm-hmm. And because I think Euro is more of a fencer than a defender at the moment. I think that basically what I'm saying is I think Mazraoui is better at defending aerials than Euro is. And
no.
Okay. But look, when you play Martinez, you've got that kind of right centre back has got to be better than both of them at the moment at heading the ball. And I would actually quite like De Ligt to come in as the right-hand centre-back for the moment because, as always, I know it's boring, but you all understand now, you need at least 5 big lumps to defend set pieces, or you can't play zonal marking.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I said no. I think Euro is better in the air. I think he's best defender in the long run. It'd be better. But I just think when this new manager came in, and we knew there'd be a back three and then 2 wide guys. I never thought that Maz or Dalot or whoever else play there. If you're not centre back, you shouldn't be playing those 3. I think Maz should be fighting out for that wing back role, wherever that is, on the left or right, like Malacia is. He's a fullback. Maz is a fullback. Malacia hasn't been in the back 3. And I wonder what Shaw's going to do when he comes in. Is he going to be in the back 3 as well? Do you know what I'm saying? So even though he has played centre back a few times, so it's really, I don't think that's where the issue is. We're talking about the starting lineup, and I was just a bit surprised because I didn't see it initially. I wasn't there pre-game, but when I came in and saw Maz and Dalot on the right, I was thinking, okay, one of them's definitely playing in the back three, and it turned out to be Maz. And I do think, I don't know, just in my mind, without actually calculating anything, I do think Dalot, maybe because he's taller, maybe because he's a bit stronger, I thought he would be over Maz as in that position, but I don't know. I just, yeah.
I think it's his left foot, like Dalot. I think that Dalot actually was one of probably the only player I would say today that I thought was okay. Like, you know, he got delivery into the box. I think he's better in the attacking situations than Mazraoui. Mazraoui's a bit of a ramrod. Do you know what I mean? It's all straight lines and power and stuff. And Dalot, I think, doesn't have a lot, but I think he's got a bit more finesse. But the real problem with the squad, and the thing that we have to accept, is that we've spent like over 100 years recruiting for one system, and now we're playing a completely different system. So we don't have the personnel to play this system, and we've also got to rotate the whole time. So we are going to get square pegs in round holes, and it's like the manager has, until the money comes in and until he gets backed in a window, he's going to have to look at the team and try and get the blend right. And it's very clear to me today that the blend that they stuck out was not very good today.
Mr. B, if that's the case, then what position is the priority? If you're the manager, what position would you be looking to fix up first?
Centre midfield.
All right.
I would be looking at centre midfield. I mean, Stephanie is saying Casemiro should have started in a double pivot with Ugarte. It seemed to work under Rude. Do you think that he's come in and just said he's not doing it because he's too old? Do you think that he can't do it? I mean, we know Casemiro can play once a week, but he's not playing at all at the moment. Do you think that may be an option that he should be looking at, or we agreeing that Casemiro's legs have gone? I actually thought those 3 games that he played under Rude seemed okay.
So I think the problem is that we have no midfielder that is suited to play in a 2. Like, you need a very sort of special type of player to play in a 2, and you're looking at a big lump that can run around. You know, they can get up and down, they can contribute, and so on. And Casemiro, Mainu, Ugarte sounds like a nice little 3, but when you think of just having two players there, I don't think that Casemiro's got the legs. I don't think that Mainu has got the legs.
No, he doesn't.
And Ugarte is not good enough of a footballer to play centrally with just one person next to him.
Oh wow, okay. I don't see Ugarte being an issue. I'll be honest.
First player subbed.
Yeah, but see, my issue with the subs are because they, by all accounts, they fell to bits. I mean, when Bruno and Kobe are in the middle of the park, what's the bloody point? None of them know how to defend. I didn't get the change. I didn't understand the change when moving him. I just thought that he just left it wide open.
I think so essentially the first goal is a dreadful error. Sorry, the second goal is a dreadful error from Mazraoui. Like, penalties happen in games and stuff, but that was crazy what he did. And then another error, and then the third one was Bruno lost the ball, Kobe pissed about, Martinez is dreadful his positioning again. And it's so you can all kind of put them down to individual errors and so on. But it's not good enough. But when you go to Ugarte, when Ugarte gets the ball, he literally just wants to shuttle it, which is fine. Like, he wants to pass it left or right. He's not when you get into attacking positions, if that pass out to his left isn't on, he'll drag it back and then he'll look on the right. And if that's not on, he'll drag it back and he'll knock it to a defender behind. And Bournemouth was springing on us when Ugarte got the ball because they know that he's not a good enough footballer to get the ball forward. And then we were getting driven all the way back. Like that's how I think Malaysia ended up conceding the free kick where we got it from, is that Ugarte, I'm not saying that he's a dreadful player or anything like that, but he really, really, really lacks on the ball in the final third. And I think teams are kind of wising up to it now, that if you play a decent block and he's on the ball, he's going to pass it backwards or sideways and you can spring on him. So I saw that happening time and time again, where we'd get the ball into the final third, Ugarte would get on it, doesn't have the range of passing, and we get driven all the way back. And that's why I think he came off.
Okay, I'm not going to say why he came off or why he didn't come off, if that's the reason. But Yaba?
Yeah, this is Ugarte thing. I think you're being a bit harsh on him. You described his game, and I think we needed that. We needed that because when we start, for example, when we are getting in the final third, which I saw today on numerous occasions, the ball comes to him. Granted, he's not going to play that killer pass or whatever, but he keeps the ball ticking over and he keeps us in possession. That he does that really well. You rarely see him giving away possessions because he takes pride in that. So I think to have a player like that in our team in the final third, he's not going to give the ball away, and then we get hit on transitions as we did numerous times under Ten Hag, you know. So I like the fact that he does that, and he's that one player in the side who's just going to be conservative and help us retain the ball. That's something we've heard the manager state that he wants us. He felt that prior to him arriving that we were giving the ball away too much. So having someone like Ugarte in there instead of say Casemiro, who would try to play ball, balls from deep, whatever, and give the ball away. I think it's important for what we do now because we need to be conservative. We can't be. I know we're not scoring goals, but we've got to try to stop conceding goals. And I'm saying that as we lost 3-0 today. But I just think a player like that with that mindset is very important for us right now. We see players like Eriksen, good on the ball, uses the ball really well. He can penetrate, he can play killer passes. But with Ugarte, he's a bit more secure, and he's going to stick to that position, and he take pride in that role, the way he does. So I'm not going to disrespect him. I think we know what he does. I think he does it well. And the other side of the game in the final third, yeah, I understand. He's no frills. He's not going to do anything, to make himself a complete midfielder. But he's assigned to do a certain job, and I think at the moment we should have to accept that's all we're going to get from him.
Yeah, but the ball's got, when you play in a box, Yabba, it's you can't shuttle the whole time. Like you've got that ball out to the winger, the wing back or like the wide player. The difference is, right, that when Eriksen played against Spurs, we had 3 or 4 cutback opportunities to Eriksen by accessing Delo, waiting for the midfield, waiting for the striker to run ahead, and then the midfielder arriving onto it. We didn't execute it fast enough, so half of London was in front of Eriksen before he shot. But the idea was there. The issue with Ugarte is he brings a lot to the table. I'm not saying, terrible signing and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying that he's got to start to be able to work in a box and not just access that wide player before the move is ready to go. He's got to be able to sort of play the combinations and sort of try and get it in between the lines to one of the 10s. Or,
but
as we saw, we're getting pushed backwards.
So you've put a lot on Ugarte. Yaba was obviously saying he's got a specific role to do. He has a partner. There was somebody who else was playing beside him today. Who was it in the first half?
Kobe.
Kobe.
It was dreadful.
Okay, so a lot of this. See, I'm not going to dig out Kobe because I don't think he's I think he's been played in the wrong position. I just think that, you were talking about blend. with those players, it's not going to be right. And I don't think he has the time at the moment. He's saying he's on the training ground. I understand that, but if we finish the season in 13th, there's a lot of people who won't be back in Amarim, especially if he doesn't get a lot of these players out. You know, so we talk about his system. Do you think the system's flawed for the Premier League?
No, I think the players are.
Yabba?
Yeah, I agree. I think the players. We've got to persist with the system. I think he's going to stick with the system. It's just that he's coming in now, and we have to accept. You said about 13th place, so if we finish in the bottom half, we might have to accept that if we're going to move forward. Because before we just throw in, buy big signings, get Zlatan or Di Maria, just to stabilize us and just so we can just keep in top half. But now it's about reality check and cold hard slap in the face for all us fans to say, look, we're going to have to accept maybe finishing lower than we expected just to try to rebuild. And I just can't believe we're talking about rebuild after all that money we've spent on players that I thought were maybe good enough. Obviously, as Bath stating, it's a new system and these players weren't specifically bought for this system. I had a friend of mine, he was blaming the inners, so-called inners, or the Ten Hag inners, and saying after the FA Cup he should have been sacked. That way we could have rebuilt in the summer with a new manager. Instead, he feels that Ten Hag's bought these players, whatever. It's not Ten Hag's buying players, but players have come in and they're not performing, and thing. So look, this is a very somber show and we're really disappointed. It's the lowest that it's ever been on the Man United agenda regarding form, placing in the league. I've never known it this bad, and defeats. And I know we've lost to Liverpool and 7-0 and 5-0 and all this kind of thing, but this is really bad. And like I say, as long as we can all agree, I'm happy to move forward. As long as everyone, people on the panel and everyone in the comments can all agree that Ten Hag couldn't get tune out of these players, and the new manager Amrin's come in and realizing that he can't, at the moment, he can't get tune out of these players either, no matter how good he is, because the players have got something wrong with them. Whether attitude, ability, they got something wrong with them. So please, I accept that, and I'm cool with that because I can't be blaming the manager. This is why I was happy with Ten Hag to say, all right, he's a good manager, but the players are absolutely crap. I'm watching today set pieces and all this kind of thing. No one trying. The reason we don't score set pieces because you have to be brave. The reason we don't defend set pieces because you also have to be brave. There's a young guy who's Hussein, all right? I don't know if you remember. I tipped him at the start of the season. He's on loan at Bournemouth. Who only scored the header. He looks like a skinny rake. And he's pushing around a man mountain who's like all big and strong, like Xerxes. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, just hold it there.
Xerxes made of air, though.
Huh?
I think he's made of air. He's got no Yeah, but he's got no physical, or he doesn't know how to use his physical side.
Yeah, exactly that.
Do you know what it is, right? Is that like I'm obviously I always find it quite amusing that Yabba like sort of small technical players, that I love big lumps. Yabba's a big lump, and I'm a small technical player. And I used to get bullied on the pitch, but I'll tell you what, I would not have allowed at any level is Xerxes let him just hold him off. Yeah. Slap that arm away. What are you doing? Yeah, but this is something that I genuinely, I'm not being over the top. You would get bollocked as an 8-year-old for letting someone hold you off like that. It's
one-handed.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
He's got spaghetti arms. I mean, come on.
No. Like this is, I suppose, referencing Tyson Usyk or something. Like when you should know where someone's liver is and things like that. You should, if they're doing something like that to you, you should let them know where their liver is as well. Smack the hand away because he pushes him back, which gives him more space, and Xerxes is allowing it. And it's when I saw it again, I can't believe that, like Keane said he'd be swinging at players after the Tottenham game a couple of years ago. if you were to see that in the video analysis afterwards, I would expect Johnny Evans and the Bogwash gang to drag him to the toilets and bogwash him for that, because it's outrageous.
Even like, you got to take pride in everything. So you know how it is in the changing rooms and everything. If you get nutmegged, years later people will be bringing it up in training, even if it's in training. You know, nuts, whatever. You know, and people will laugh at you, whatever. You know, but if you get waste, like, no one could tell me. Anyone I've played football with over the years, you tell me the story about the day I got waste, by somebody. I'm giving people gym membership cards. You know, it doesn't happen, because I will tell people, you never catch me getting weights by anyone. I've been up against some strong dudes, and I know, take an elbow. You want to come near me? Take an elbow. You ain't coming near me or whatever, or I'm gonna take. And you got to take pride in that. So if I'm Xerxes and I'm his teammate right now, I would be ribbing him to say, you got weights, bruv. Or whatever you say in the change room. And humiliate him so he knows it should never happen again. And I don't know if that's happening in change room. It's like Bruno, you're a pum-pum, as Mr. B would say. If Mr. B was in change room, he would say, you're a pum-pum, you're a little blowhole, all this kind of thing, because you're getting moved up all the time. Why are you going down like that,
Today.
And to the point where Bruno would say, well, I ain't doing that again. I don't want Mr. B ribbing me on the coach on the way back, all the way to Manchester. Or if Maz is going down and being aggressive and giving away a penalty, bath time would be ribbing him to the point where he would never do that again. But are we
beastly?
What would you say? What would you say to him on the coach?
What, to Maz or to Xerxes?
Yeah. Or Eddie, pick someone that you want to rib. Who would you be ribbing? What would you say in that squad?
I think it would actually.
Don't choose Anthony. That's too easy.
No, I think it would either be Kobe or Bruno off today, because they would be in my sector, and Kobe was like playing like a Harlem Globetrotter or something. Do you know what I mean? It was like it was just like he's got the skill button, and that's all he's doing. And I think I'd just be throwing stuff at him. Like, to be honest, I like throwing the football at people when they piss me off. But do you know what I mean? I tell you what, I've got in trouble a lot of times because a special move I have in training is if I get a bad pass, I sometimes pick it up and boot it at the player and tell them to control that. I think that, I know, it's a really bad habit. I think that with Bruno, for example, just losing that ball, but it just happens. It happens too often. And the thing is, is that I actually thought Bruno did all right towards the back end of the game. But when everyone was losing their heads and things, I think, like, not necessarily even a captain, but a senior player has to stop the pantomime and the crying and things. We've got, like, the effing roof leaking. We don't need to be drowning in Bruno's tears as well as having it pouring from the sky. Like, honestly, Rasmus, Bruno, Garnacho, just crying. But the thing that drives me mad, it's like bloody Dr. Hibbert again. The thing that drives me mad is genuinely Xerxes letting himself, what a submissive little so-and-so, just letting that guy just gently stroke his chest and hold him off. Just smack it away. I don't
Tour him in the face.
Well, like that, like Anthony. Rah. I'm stunned he let him just put his hand on him like that and not rock it. And then when you look at his jump, I genuinely would expect my 6-year-old niece to try and head a football like that, sort of standing jump, head down. Like,
no challenge at all. No one near him. He cleared his space with his little stick arm, and no one got near. How can you be removed like that?
Well, it's like but this is why I'm kind of okay with Amarin at the moment, right? Because we just it's such a difficult thing because we don't have enough lumps to play zonal marking. And when you look at who is in the zonal system, with the exception of Maguire, I can't trust a single one of them. Like, not one.
Delete.
No, Delix.
Yes, I'm not. You know what? I'm sorry,
I told you.
You know what? There's a lot of things you tell me half time. A lot of things I take notice of, and a lot of things I don't take. Our team is better with deleting it. Whether it's delete with Maguire, I don't care. But the team is better when delete plays.
Okay, but not. What I'm saying is, I don't disagree with that. To be honest, what I'm saying is that Delict, I don't trust him winning headers from corners.
I think he can. Look, Johnny Evans, we know he can do that.
Yeah,
he's Premiership. He's got Premiership in his blood. But De Ligt is good. You saw him when he's playing for Ajax and Bayern Munich and Juve, attacking corners, he's scoring goals, defending corners, he's getting his head in. I'm with Mr. B. I trust him on that. I just think you got to give him more time. He will be able to fix up. We've seen. Was it when he's facing the wrong way at one of the goals? Yeah. You know, he's got to get used to it in a way, and we're going to give him time. But the one thing, I trust that he can do that job as a defender. But when you got Maz and Martinez there, I don't want anyone to talk about Harry Maguire or pick him out because he's an easy target.
Yeah, he had a dreadful game, Yabba.
Yeah, I know, but we don't want to be talking about it because at least he's trying to. He knows the Premiership; it's in his blood. He knows how to defend. And he knows how to win headers. And sometimes he's winning headers time and time again and get no praise. You're not supposed to, because that's your job. But a lot of these guys are not doing it. Like we saw with Xerxes. I know he's not a take, but he's a big 6'4", 15-stone lump. And he let this little stick man, Pete Crouch-looking guy, hold him off, yeah, and said, sorry, bruv, you know, and didn't say, sorry for touching you. I'm going to back off now. What a pum.
Are you now like Xerxes? Are you like? I mean, he was Batistue to Ronaldinho and George Best or something.
Not my words. This came from Thiago Motta. Not me.
Now,
remember that.
Yeah. Are you now,
Mr. B? Don't make it work.
Are you now sort of like out? Are you Xerxes out, as it were? Like you don't like him?
You know what? I'm watching him today, and I'm just thinking, boy. You know, you've got a lot of work to do, and he doesn't like to do the work. And even then, I'm thinking, all right, wait until he gets ball into feet and his little set man, you know, that sort of thing. And he's struggling with that as well. And I want him to be so much more aggressive and everything. And I've seen what's done it for me. I think I saw a picture of him and his girl, and he's got one of these sort of so-called beautiful women, and he's posing up like that with his girlfriend. That's what I'm saying. That's, like I said at the start of the show, a lot of these men there already think they made it. You need the hunger. You need to be, you know, yeah, exactly. Where you know, a lot of players, you know, when you really think about it, a lot of players that make it are not the best lookers. I think because they're hungry. They're not caring. They don't get their head turned by girls. They're just hungry for football and they just want to make it. Look at Peter Beardsley. You know. He made it. He worked hard at his game.
Yeah, but he was an ugly shit, though, wasn't he?
Exactly, because he had no distractions. He had no distractions. But some of these guys.
What are you saying? Let's just go out and sign ugly players. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to get someone in to sit there and go, I would. Let's not sign him. I wouldn't. Definitely get him in. What are you talking about? Like,
I'm trying to. Figure out why these guys lack hunger and desire where they want to get, you know.
It's because they're not that type of player. That's the problem, is that we've got pretty footballers, or like you know, like we don't have people that like are just. There's not a lot of players in our team like that love defending. For example, like Maguire loves it. I don't know about Martinez, but De Ligt likes defending as well. You know, they're probably a little bit turned on by Solanke, thinking today, you know, big physical guys come in, I'm going to absolutely dom this little so-and-so and things like that. But all over the team, like, when we talk about blend, I think for some reason, Ugarte and Eriksen looks better than Ugarte and Kobe and stuff like that. But once again, we have recruited, because of these dipshits everywhere talking about ballers the whole time,
yeah,
we haven't recruited footballers like who are able to run about and stuff and win their challenges. And I mean, like the playing out from the back thing, I'm not a fan of it at most levels of the game, because it's better to be able to contest second balls, in my opinion, than it is to be able to play out from the back. Because if you can contest second balls, that makes your playing out from the back much, much better. Because then they've really got to get pressure on the goalkeeper before he punts it. And the goalkeeper is normally left alone. And, they kind of shut the pitch off and go into a man-to-man system. And today, you saw the amount of balls that were launched forward. We didn't win any of them. We didn't win the second balls. So we got to concentrate, first of all, on winning the second balls, which we're going to have to do with structure and recruitment before we worry about playing out from the back. For me, and the physical issues are always the most glaring, in our team. And when you compare Xerxes and Rasmus, at least Rasmus runs about a bit and gets his elbows around and stuff like that, and he just competes a little bit more. He's still a massive crier, and you're going to drown if he's on the pitch in his tears. But at least his running about and his aggression increases the chances of us winning the ball higher up the pitch. Xerxes, man, he looks like. Do you remember them Party Rock people? He just looks like he's shuffling around the pitch the whole time, like Red Foo or whatever he was called. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's like if you're in Space Jam, right? They go and they take people and they steal their skills and give them to the aliens.
Yeah.
Xerxes looks like Fellaini's had his skills stolen and just is wandering lost around the Arndale Centre. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen a player that has been so quickly disliked by United fans, by match-going fans as Xerxes, because he just floats about like a plastic bag in the wind. Katy Perry.
The main thing is the things you're supposed to do. Without standards, you're supposed to give 110%. You're supposed to work your kahunas off. You're supposed to be brave. These are just standard things. Forget everything else before we get to tactics or whatever. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you're not even bringing that to the table, whether you're Xerxes, whoever you are, then you got to bounce, because these are the standard things you're supposed to do. It's just it's not even written in the contract. It's unspoken rule. You're playing in the Premier League. You're supposed to work your hardest because you're playing at the top level. You come here and you think you're gonna cruise through the league and just expect others to do your job for you. That's what I think about Xerxes sometimes. I think the goals he scores, tap-ins or waiting to be set up and that kind of thing. What about the rest of the game, bro? What about the rest of the game? What else are you doing to contribute? Because, like I say, on the bus right now, it won't be no bus, sorry, they were at home today, but next day in training, they can say, you were just cruising, bruv. And it's going to get to the point where people are going to be sighing and look at him and saying, nah, man, you need to put the work in to contribute. We see a player like Harry Kane, for example. He reminds you of Harry Kane, pace-wise, and all these kind of things. And he drops deep. You understand what I'm saying? But Harry Kane drops deep and then jogs slowly back into the box and gets on the end of things or whatever. That's where I think he could be effective, because we were crying out for Harry Kane for a number of years. So if I was him, I'll take a long, hard look at himself, say, I got to do it now. I'm really going downhill fast at the moment. First of all, do the things that you're supposed to do. Hard work, extra training, get sharper, get faster, be a beast. Don't let people stick man, hold me off like that. Be a beast, come through these guys, win headers. You remember the header he had the other day midweek where he just came to him and just directed it? No, it should be bam, good morning, take that, just to say, these are the things that he needs to show more aggression in all areas of his game, and then try to play a bit like Harry Kane. If you're going to come deep, link up, and then get yourself in the box, and time your runs and all kind of thing. Then we've got some sort of player. But at the moment, because you're not doing the fundamentals, the things you're supposed to do, this is why Man United fans are calling you out. You've got people like Paddy on the sidelines who don't know really much about football, but what he does know when someone's no, it's true. Paddy does know when someone's not pulling their weight.
I agree, but would you now forgive me for when I got really pissed off before Xerxes' first interview, where he said people shouldn't expect goals from me, and I said that this was a ridiculous attitude for a United striker to have. This is exactly what I feared in Xerxes that the hunger that someone like, let's just say Solanke or Chris Wood or someone like that, they've got this thing in them. Like, they might look and play like Godzilla, but they'll fight for that yard to get their toe on the end of the ball and stuff. And Xerxes, I've never seen him like just use his presence, his build to get someone out of the way in the box. And with the way football is played now, waiting for access from the half spaces and things like that, it might look like strikers are just standing about. But even someone who's in a bit of a poor vein of form, someone like Haaland, he's moving men about in the box and getting them on a particular side. And even like I saw that John Duran the other day, like the way he sort of like gets on the blind side of a player is so important, because that moment where they check to see where he is, like someone like Yabo will tell you want your hands out feeling, like, so that you don't have to look. Because when you look, you're not, the player's got the opportunity to go, and then you've got to react to it. You're no longer in control of the situation. And that's because you've got to go and get the information to get in control of the situation by kind of scanning, I suppose. But the thing with Xerxes is he just doesn't seem to care about what is going on around him. He's never looking for the little advantages that you always need. He never puts himself in a position to annoy a centre-back. He never like exaggerates like his movement. And the other thing is that in the same way that I think Ugarte is limited with the fact he can't pass the ball forwards, or doesn't look to pass the ball forwards, where are Marciano runs and stretching the pitch from Xerxes? I cannot believe that they're getting away with this and just like that. That's the way I am. It's like that person who says you're not funny and you got a shit haircut. I just say it as it is. That's the way I am. I don't care. Make the run. It's ridiculous.
And this is why I worry about. You see, like Garnacho will run as much as he doesn't run, maybe in the right direction. He runs. I think one of those players in the formation that Amorim wants to be playing needs to run. Bruno, for whatever reason, is going to be starting. One thing that Bruno did today that really pissed me off. He had all of those chances wasted in the first half by all accounts. He passed the ball to Ahmad at the end of the half, and Ahmad, towards the end of the game, passed it across field, and Ahmad missed. And Bruno's hands went up straight away. I'm thinking, bruv, you've wasted the ball 28 times. He wasted the ball today. 28 times. Wow. It doesn't matter what you position you're playing in. You can't be wasting the ball 28 times. And he's supposed to be our creator. People talk about, I back Bruno a lot. I do back Bruno a lot, but he's starting to really do my nutting. I'm now starting to see the things that other people are seeing that, you're probably blinded to seeing because you like the player. I don't know where he plays. I don't know where he plays in this formation. And we're not going to get backed. Andrew, or was it V, was saying about we need to go in with the formation that we've been playing and then maybe change during the summer. Obviously, I understand what Amorim's done, but you've got to think we need European football. We need to be playing European football. There's no way he keeps that squad of players happy. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea are playing in two competitions, but guess what? They've got two different squads to play in those two competitions.
While we wait for Mr. B to get back, on Bruno, I think one of the issues with the 10s is that one of them has got to be like the traditional right sider in a 3, and has got to just basically be running all match. When Ahmad and, for example, I don't think Ahmad is particularly good as a number 10. I think he's far, far better as the wing back, because there's a lot of stuff in his game that isn't up to scratch for the number 10 position. But I don't like Ahmad and Bruno together because Ahmad is too wide and Bruno is essentially too static, where he's not making the run past into the box and stuff like that. This is why I think Mount was good, because Mount was doing the running. And I kind of agree with Mr. B that I think that Garnacho might be the best suited we have to the number 10, just because he's getting in behind and he's also playing a bit more centrally. Like, I don't know about you, Yabba, but I was obviously annoyed with all the players today, but I was getting increasingly frustrated with Ahmad. Maybe because he wasn't performing to the normal standard, but there's two things in his game that are driving me up the wall. One is that when he gets to the byline, he can never get a cut back in. Like, he slows the attack down a little bit too much and then doesn't get it in. And the other thing is, I think that his shooting from outside the box is on par with Anthony.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Anthony, I think Anthony, if you look at Anthony, he can shoot. I'm really surprised he hasn't showed that on a regular basis for Man United. He looks like he's a poor shooter, but he's got a good, he can hit top bins from cutting in from the right-hand side. I've seen him do it various times, maybe in different leagues. But
Anthony.
He's able to do it, but just for some reason, I'm not going to say he can't do it, because I think he can do it more than Ahmad. The thing with Ahmad, like in midweek, ball came across, he had hit it first time, and it's soft, it was going wide. He's not got the power in his shot. He's not got, you can't see him whipping the ball in, cutting in and whipping the ball in like that. What he should focus on doing is cutting in and doing what Saka does, for example. Jockey the defender, get a yard, cross the ball into a danger area, 6-yard box where people are going to be attacking it. That's what I think he should focus on doing. The shooting side of things will come, but it's a bit like, for me, like Martial, where I don't think they're good at lace shooting it, where it's going to be boom, nice and hard.
No.
He's not very good at that in his game. But so just at least try make triangles or cross the ball a bit more often. Look, we're here to be assessing games and football and everything. And I know Bath time, I love you, man. I've got respect for you and everything. And I don't think at first I was getting a bit upset with you, thinking, oh no, you're going to Ahmad. But when I'm really taking it in, you're not. You're just stating how he can improve his game. And you stated 2 points there where I have to agree, those are the areas where he needs to improve.
I just think he's better at wing back. Like,
for now, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, what I will say is that, like, at the start of the season, do you remember that thing that someone told me about how a good thing to look at when you're looking at players from a league or a club that isn't up to your standard, and you're considering signing them, is you look who takes set pieces, because normally that's your best ball striker. Today, like, I was very confused because Ahmad's ball striking is terrible. And then he takes those corners and they're outrageously good. So Ahmad's got the ability to do it. I think that when we look at, like, I know everyone wants to change to a 4-4-2 or whatever. It's not going to happen. We've recruited Amrin for his system and so on. So we're going to play this system. But at the moment, we have to look at the blend, and then we'll recruit towards that system. I think in terms of the blend, Bruno and Ahmad as 10s together don't work. But I've seen that Ahmad is the most effective at like wing back. That's where we've seen his kind of best performances. The issue is that we lose his pressing and so on, and we got a lot of goals from pressing this season. It's one of the great improvements that Amrin has brought in. It's that press. But I think going forwards, I would like to see Garnacho as one of the 10s, simply because he does what Ahmad and Bruno doesn't do. He runs in behind.
And look what happened as soon as he came on the pitch today. He was in on goal. With
I missed as usual. As usual.
He does. Yeah, we missed, but he got through.
And he got through two or three times. I think that Garnacho is still probably our best entry to the box. But as I think Tyrone said earlier, like, about my stuff about Ugarte, he said no one's making the run to give him the ball forwards. So it might be the case that Rasmus and Ahmad are decent as 10s, decent as a 9 and a 10 combination. But there's literally no combination that can kind of do Xerxes, because he won't run and things. So I don't know. Do we have to look at like sort of units now, where like Garnacho, Xerxes, Eriksen? I don't know. We see that as like one unit because they all complement each other, and we look at Bruno and Bruno and Ugarte and think that like kind of, or Bruno and Eriksen, or like those are the ones.
Bruno and nobody.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look, to be honest, I felt that we played a bit better when Bruno was in a sixth position than when Kobe and Ugarte were in the sixth position. But to be honest, the game was beyond us by then, and they were just seeing it out. So I don't know. My point is that with this system and things, it's so many square pegs in round holes at the moment that we've got to kind of find an effective blend. And for me, that's Ahmad at right wing back and not in the number 10.
Can I just say, like, just could we have a conversation here about this as well? Big up to everyone in the comments, by the way. Enough respect to you guys if you tuned in. And make sure you press the like button and all the nice things like that. Andrew's saying here, Kobe's not sure how to play in a two-man midfield. That was mentioned earlier by you, Mr. B, wasn't it?
Yeah. We got a lot of players struggling.
So the point, what I was going to say here, Kobe started off at wing back. We remember when the manager came in, we were trying to debate who's going to play where, who's going to fit into which role into the club, and we couldn't work it out. I was a bit surprised that not Kobe, sorry, Ahmad was playing wing back, and he done really well there, worked hard, and then he got promoted for his hard work to play to number 10, where everyone felt, oh, he should be playing as number 10. It's like a promotion, relegation sort of thing. Play well, you can play this position. If you don't, you drop back to a certain position. Like Maz, he played as a number 10 early in the season and didn't play too well, and he got dropped back to his standard position. So I think Ahmad, you saying he's better off at wing back, maybe now he is for the benefit of the team, but long term, if you want someone to improve in a certain position, because you're saying when he plays as 10, he's too wide, that kind of thing. If you want someone to improve, it comes from practice, playing that position regularly. But maybe we don't have the time because we need results to do that. So it's a balance, isn't it? From playing a player in the position where long term you think he'd be better, or playing him at wing back, and he might not develop the skills as a number 10 long term. We've always felt that he can play down the middle, as a 10. And I think what he sort of saying, in certain areas, he's got the ball, tight areas, able to get away, a bit like Kobe, able to sort of keep the ball and little touches to get away from defenders and use his body well. So I think he's got the ability to do it, but it's just about positional sense, as you said there, about drifting out wide. Because that's what his natural game is. He wants to get space out wide where he can turn on a guy and attack. So he has to learn the position, but we haven't got the time to do that. So there's a number of players. I don't know, it'd be nice to have a review at the end of a period of time of Amran's been there, maybe before the transfer window, to say what someone's best position is. Even like with the centre backs, is Harry Maguire better as a wide centre back or the main? No, just an example. Or is Anthony, for example, played as a number 10 the other day?
Yeah,
he has had enough experience there. But long term, would it be better him persisting with that position rather than him playing the team? Because I asked Mr. B the question earlier, if you're the manager and there's some money, what position you could go for first? Mr. B said a midfielder. I think the priority here is a wing back or a wide guy. Before anything.
Midfield straight away. Like
you're going left or right? But over a central midfielder,
I just think the wide, because I just think we need to get a wide guy in.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you don't get central midfield, you've got no engine. To me, the central midfield is the engine of your team, innit? And if you get it wrong, you can't find a player who can't pass, because then there's no point. This is Bath Time's point with Ugarte. You can't pass the ball to him out of your defenders can't hit him with a pass because the ball's always going to come straight back. He's not picking it up on the half turns. Tielemans yesterday, every time he picks up the ball, Gravenberch doesn't pick up the ball ever. He never picks up the ball facing the goal. He's always side on, whether it's one side or the other side. So he's got the opportunity to play. So I think I was so. These players just suck the joy out of the game. I wasn't expecting this. I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting this today. You know, I thought that we would have gone in there. Yeah, Bournemouth did us, and you know, you look at it, whatever I can't remember his name is now. He's had them playing a nice system, but I still think of us as being Manchester United and us being at home. You know what I mean? But that's the part of it that I need to start realizing that we are really a mid-table team. We really are, and it's
a
just
build
hard
back
accepted.
now.
Yeah,
it's not a rebuild. We've got to build back.
So how can you guys say we need a midfielder when the main signing of the summer was a midfielder?
Because we needed two.
Yeah, but we just brought a midfielder into the club, Ugarte, and I think the I'm talking about. I agree with you, but I'm talking about priority. If you're the manager, what's the priority position? You're saying a midfielder. He's got a striker
or a midfielder. Like
he's got
guys in the chat.
Casemiro. He's
Tell
got
me your priority.
He's got
your priority position.
He's got Ugarte. He's got Mason Mount who can play there. He's got Bruno Fernandes who can play there. He's got on the bench Collier who could probably do a good job. You know, there's 7 players just picked out who can play in 2 positions there. We've got an abundance of midfielders there. So that's what I'm saying. We've got young guys, Kone, for example, coming in. I don't think it's a priority. We just spent big money on Ugarte. The priority for me, if we're going to move forward this season, we need to get a wide guy in, someone who's designated wing back. You know, we don't have that at the moment. We've got midfielders.
So what side are you choosing? Left or right?
They play inverted, so it doesn't matter to me. You know, if you're right footed, you can play both sides. If you're left footed, you can play both sides. Doesn't matter. But someone who's designated able to play there.
Want 2-footed wing back. Do you know how much that's going to cost?
Not 2-footed. I never said 2-footed. You know, we got Malacia playing on the left. He's not 2-footed. We've got Delo.
Yeah, he's a pack of shit.
But there you go. So doesn't that show you that if we're playing Malacia and we're starting him for 45 minutes every game, doesn't that show you we need someone better in that position? Because we didn't have anything going forward. How many crosses have we seen? How many people have we seen being effective in those wide positions? Delo gets there, does a little step over, gets the.
He put some good crosses in, Delo.
Yeah, but there's no end product, for my opinion. You know,
a lot of that's down to the strikers. For me, like I'd go for the striker over a wing back, but the reason that I want a midfielder is, once again, it's down to blend, is that we don't have all our bases covered in midfield despite all of those players. Like an Amadou Onana or whatever would still be the top player that I'd put in, big, rangy, decent on the ball, all that kind of stuff, because I feel that today, if you could bring the best player in the world into any position on that team, I don't know if having Alphonso Davies or Hakimi or Frimpong or any of these fullbacks makes as big a difference as putting the best midfielder in the world would, because I felt that once again we were getting duffed up, we weren't able to play through, and we were losing every single second ball. And Bournemouth have been doing this to teams all season, like duffing them up. Like we saw Aston Villa absolutely bang up Man City because that Rodgers guy, they couldn't deal with the physicality and stuff. So I say that we need to get a midfielder, because you've got to fight your way into a football match before you can begin to play football. And just giving it out to a souped up Tariq Lamptey, I don't think is going to get us the results and so on. So it's got to be a midfielder for me, or a striker that is able to, win his headers, like bring men into play, hold them off and stuff. Like we need more competitors in the middle of the park, and not, fast, nippy little players on the outside to get into games for me.
I strongly disagree.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. Respect it still. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree that we don't need a midfielder. We do. But I think what I'm saying is the priority. If you're watching as a manager and you're saying, look, what position do we need? The Ineos come to you and say, what position do we need urgently? If I was in, I'd be saying, we need a wide guy who's going to
give you another reason.
Yeah.
Can I give you another argument to try and sway you? One of the problems that I believe that we have is that we are a team, I think we can all agree, has kind of been built as a transition team. Like Ten Hag wanted to be the best, Ollie wanted to be the best at transitions. Wing backs are pretty poor for transition-based football, because either they're going to be too high up or they're going to be too low down. So when you have a wing back, you have to move like more pragmatically or with more intent. Like, you can't just play transition football with them. Like, that's why Garnacho is quite nice, because you can play with him. So what we need is midfielders that are better suited to utilising the wing backs, i.e. not Bruno, who will get the ball and try and bang it out wide or something like that. We've got to build up through stages. We've got to get the wing back up the pitch and pin people in. I think that having a midfielder that is able to do that will benefit us more than having the best wing back that isn't being used effectively. Is that a better argument for you?
Yeah, I hear your argument. I accept it. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying the priority for me. So when you look at, we've got Malacia Dallo, who's played there, we've got Ante, who's played there, and Ahmad, who's played there. All right. So they're not necessarily fullbacks, a mixture of fullbacks and some former wide guys. I'm looking at Bayer Leverkusen. Look at a side like that who play a similar system to us. And there's another team I felt that played a similar system to us.
Inter Sporting? Yeah,
Inter, for example. If you look at their wing backs, so-called wing backs or whatever, they've got the Italian dude who plays on the left-hand side. Forget his name now. Marco, yeah, very good player, you know. And then if you look at Leverkusen, they got the Spanish dude as well. Grimaldo, brilliant, ex-Barcelona player. He's brilliant going forward. He's so important to their team that him and on the other side, Frimpong are playing as well, because they give you the pace. They're always involved in the moves when they're in the final third, because they've got something about them. They've got the pace to get away. They give you the width. These guys are really important to what make Leverkusen tick. So I think that's why, because we look at the personnel we've got at in wide areas at the moment, they're not really being effective we haven't scored more goals. They're not involved in the final third with the goals. Giving examples there. It's only Ahmad who's showed a little something. But ideally, if going forward, I'd rather see Ahmad closer to the goal, as you would say, or playing in the 10. But so for me, a wide guy of that caliber, which is very rare, you know, in world football, but if we can get a wide guy of that caliber to play as a wing back for us, who can give us a lot more, as does Frimpong, as does Grimaldo and Di Marco, whatever his name is at Inter, then we might see something add to our game in the final third.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The crux of my argument is that I don't think that with our midfield we can use those wide players effectively at the moment, and that the fact we can't compete in midfield would suggest to me that like putting Dalot and Anthony, like if they do as they're told, they'll get in these positions, and it will be about quality. And at the moment, it's not about quality; it's about getting them into those positions. And I think a midfielder helps us far more, like kind of lay the basics for that, like lay the foundations to get those players in, because it's, dare I say it, it's a little bit like getting a Pogba or a Ronaldo in and hoping that solves all our problems by plastering over the fundamental issues, which is that our midfield setup has been poorly recruited, and they're just not the correct players to play in this role. And I thought we had to find a midfield partner for Kobe, to be honest, but I think we have to now look at Kobe as a bit of a luxury player and find a midfield partner for Ugarte, because Ugate's got the energy and so on, and we got to balance out his game with someone. And it at the moment, I think it's probably Eriksen. From what I've seen, would be the Eriksen and Ugarte, I think, might be our best midfield pairing.
It's interesting because when you look around, I was watching Spurs and Liverpool today, and I wish I never watched that game, because watching Liverpool, they are fantastic, boy. Their midfield, McAllister and Gravenberch, and if it's not them, it's Curtis Jones, and these guys run and technically good and just open up, bam, 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 real good players. And then I look at Spurs, I'm thinking, wow, you got that Sarr guy. Is it Sarr? Is his name Sarr? And Basuma. And these guys, and when I'm looking at, why doesn't Bentancur play? And I understand, because you need combative, strong.
Because he's been banned for racism.
Oh, is that why he's not playing?
Yeah, he said something about Son. Like,
Oh, but they're teammates.
Shout out to Ugarte. He's one of the few Uruguayans who's never been banned for racism in the Premier League. Long may it continue. Cavani got done as well, didn't he? And obviously Suarez.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Now Bentancur.
I didn't realise. I didn't know that. Okay. Wow.
But yeah, like, and also Trent. My word.
Wow.
Quality. I mean, people talk about Martinez and his quality. Look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know people aren't fans of him, but I look at that guy and it still amazes me that that's what a modern right back is. Outrageous.
Amazing.
But yeah, you're right, Yabba. The directness, the strength, the ability to win duels, pick up second balls, put pressure on the team. What we saw from Bournemouth was, to be honest, a little bit like a second-rate Liverpool in how they were organised and the physicality that they used. And this again goes to my point in midfield, where I just don't think that we can compete against all these bigger boys at the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kobe and Ugarte, they've both got a lot of qualities, and we love Kobe and so on. But it's, I mean, I think that maybe what we might need to do is kind of like go a lot slower and have Bruno, Ugarte, and Kobe like in there, and then kind of like then when the wing backs are up, then go into the 4-2-3, whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah, we need more patience, I think, and a bit more sort of security, because I don't know about you, Yabba, but when I watched the game today, I thought that I've never seen a United team this nervous playing at home against, you know, what I would term a mid-table team. I don't know if you saw that huddle that they did before the game started. No, I think that's something that's happened that has affected them this week. This is more rampant speculation. But also, I think that team is playing with fear at the moment. Like, every action is a sort of a scared one. Like, Maguire was dreadful on the ball today. Like, Kobe was dreadful on the ball today. It was like a disease that had spread around the team, where they were giving some of the worst passes I've seen from Manchester United players in the Premier League, all at like sort of like ankle height. So you got to take it at a really annoying angle, just banging the ball in. They look. I don't understand how you can beat your rivals like City, one of the greatest teams the world has ever seen. Like, we're like Spurs, you know, just then turn up like a bag of shit. And I'd love to know what's gone wrong, because I don't blame the manager, because they weren't doing the fundamentals today, and he tried to make the changes. Like, taking Ugarte off was a brave choice, but I understand like why he did it. So I suppose what I'm asking is, do you reckon that they were just, what was going on with them today? Like, they're not great players, but I've never seen them perform as poorly on the ball with no pressure as today.
I think there's a saying, isn't there? Well, I always say this, but you're always singing and skinning, which means skinning teeth, when you're winning. And it brings that sort of confidence to the team. And when you don't have the trust in players, and you don't have, things are on the low and things are down, and there's so much speculation, there's so much social media, so much news about, you know, your club and your players and everything. I don't think there's trust amongst the players either. I think there's I suspect, this is what I'm saying, I'm doing one of bath times now, but I suspect that if I was one of the players there, I'd be looking at Bruno and thinking, you doing too much. As they say in America, there's a saying in America, I don't like to pick up any things like, you know, when in America they say like, I'm adamant I've never picked that up and say that. But I used to say man and cool and, you know, these things that come from America, which are quite popular. But there's a new one in America that says that's too much. Too much. Don't say that's too much. Say too much. And if you understand what I mean, that just means you're doing too much, or you're showing off too much. So when I'm watching Bruno and I'm seeing him today,
what an explanation!
Translating, I've never.
No, you know,
that
like, I could say bad or wicked, and that means the opposite of what it means. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jackson, bad means I'm bad. It means I'm cool. I'm wicked.
Well, maybe
Not
he was being honest. He's just getting it out there.
But you see what I mean? So the new saying, when I'm watching Bruno, I'm like, too much, man. Too much. Because he went to, when Agate came off, he dropped deeper. And he bypassed the 210s and still trying to play these killer balls. Too much, man.
The point. He's too selfish.
Yeah.
No, I
so
think
if I'm a player,
emotional.
I'll be vexed. I'll be looking at him saying, nah, man, that causes disharmony, Mr. B. You're looking at a guy and you're thinking, look at this guy. He thinks he's the bee's knees.
No, I reckon Bruno is too emotional. Like, I don't think it's about selfishness. I think it's more of a sort of savior mentality, a sort of messiah complex, where, like, we always, like you've just said, like, you know, like, if I was there and I was looking at Bruno, he'd be this, I'd be thinking that. What do you think Bruno's thought about a lot of these players over the last 4 or 5 years as he's had the club on the back?
I think he's disrespecting everyone because he thinks he can do everything for himself. So that to me suggests, I'm Bruno. Yeah. Look, I have to do this. I have to do it. You know, I don't trust you to do it. Give it to me. I'll take the free kicks. I'll make the final through ball. I'll do it all. I don't trust everyone.
If you fucking talk to me like that, V, you can fucking do one.
What's a male version of Karen?
A bath time, apparently. Darius.
Yeah, but there is a name, isn't there, for a male Karen? It's called.
Is it?
Yeah, I swear there was a name for a male Karen. I can't remember what it was. Is it V? No, I don't know, but yeah. One thing, I mean, I think
They're
Bruno.
saying Carl.
Is it a Carl? Okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's a Carl. Yeah. But do you look, if you're in the side bath time, Mr. B, who would you be frowning at or having little whispers in the coach about saying, I'm getting this guy's annoying me?
What, who played
Martinez.
today?
Okay, yeah.
Today?
Well, in general.
Anana.
Yeah, yeah, he's the. You know what it is? I understand, you know, you want to set your kick right. He takes 15 seconds to take every kick, bro.
And he waggles his ass.
Just pass the fucking ball, innit? You know what I mean? He dilly-dallies too much. We're losing the game. We're losing the game, and you're still taking your time. You understand? These things, just, I don't know, man. I just wasn't expecting this team to be so. I know the players are shit. I know they are. We've been watching them long enough.
Yeah.
But I think employing Amarin just clouded my overall judgment of their shitness. You know,
yeah.
I'm glad there wasn't a bounce because they haven't fooled him. You know, he has to know you can't play. You give them the list and let the club get rid of them. You know what I mean? That part of it, I'm glad with, but Jesus, man, we are so shit. You can't, you know,
acceptance, Mr. B.
Yeah,
like, you know, there's 5 stages of grief. Like you have pleading, anger, denial. You've now arrived at acceptance.
Is that the final one?
Yeah,
that's the final. Oh my God! Really?
There's no more stages. Like tonight, you've realised everything that we are essentially a mid-table team.
We come on the watch-alongs, and
do we?
No, sorry. We come the previews, and you know we try to give positive score predictions. My score predictions from now are going to be the score predictions that I think that they're going to be. I'm sick of being positive. I love Amarin.
You want to be surprised?
Yeah, you know what? Nothing surprises me.
We lose 6-0, so you want to be surprised.
Yeah,
we only lost 4.
Yeah, you only lost 4. Yeah, you know, be happy that we did. You know, our goal difference is 2 less than what I thought it would have been. It's just so frustrating, man. I want to come on. I want to be, you know, I want to be sitting on there smiling like, yeah, we won the Man City. I was so happy for the Man City. Yeah. But you know, in the back of your mind, you know, something else is going to happen in it. And lo and behold, we got it against Spurs. So what I hoped was it would have been, you know, the weekend coming up with this team and these players just fuck me off, man.
You know, it used to be when we did our score prediction or match previews, anyone to say Man United lose, we go boo, and we ask everyone to join in as well, wouldn't we? But now, if anyone's asked, so from now on, if you put Man United to win, we're gonna boo you.
Boo you. Yeah, that's more. Yeah. That's more. Yeah.
Oh, it's really bad.
I know, but it's interesting. I do enjoy that Mr. B's finally realised how crap we are. He had us being able to get top 4, I think, a week ago.
I did. No, I did. Yeah. I did. And I told everybody who would listen to me, we're back. Like some fucking prick. Yeah, they just this team, man. I just want to be happy, supporting my bloody team.
This is the pain we've got to go through to get rid of them, though. If we had, like, I remember, I think the end of last season or maybe the beginning of this season, I asked Yabba, like, what was the kind of failure margin for Ten Hag? And do you remember that? 75 goals, 75 points. Lol. But the thing is now we know, Amrin knows, everyone knows the standards of these players. I would hope that it hasn't yet, but I would hope that means that when people say, like, we've got to change the system and stuff, that that's not what the case is. The case is we've got to churn these players out now. Like, you know, for example, I really like Bruno. I think he's been the heart and soul of the club and the team for 5 years.
Don't say it, last time.
But I think we need to take a look at what we're getting from him and the wages and so on, and make a decision. I'm not saying that should be out and stuff, but absolutely he's got to be off set pieces. Absolutely he's got to become accountable for looking after the ball now. We're not a transition team in the way that we were, so you can't be banging the ball up the pitch and so on. We've got to be looking at players that we've been told are amazing, like Martinez, who has been pretty shit, in my opinion, for 18 months. We've got to maybe have a little look at people like Collier, because it's not a rebuild anymore. It's a build back. And the first thing we've got to do is build the physical floor of the team up a little bit, because the majority of the setup problems that we saw with Ten Hag have kind of gone now. Our press is okay. Like, we don't get cut through in the middle so much anymore. Players are kind of in the right positions, and it's about increasing the quality and the character and the blend of the team. So with this acceptance, Mr. B, I'm hoping that this isn't like that the system isn't going to work and things. It's that the players are utter dog shit, like, in pretty much every aspect of, like, what you need physically, mentally, like being able to deal with pressure. And we've got to focus on clearing them out rather than saying, oh, we need 2 up front or something like that. We've just got to accept that after years and years and years of shitting in the corner, that the shit has just taken over the house, that every cupboard you open, shit's pouring out. You turn the tap on and piss is flying everywhere. Like, you go into a room and it's just Shaw sitting in a bath of shit. Like we've just let shit overtake the club. It's like the bloody, like, Aegean stables or something, and we need a complete clean out.
Oh God. What's that program where they go into dirty houses and clean them up? Or you need like Edward Woodward, like the Equalizer, to come in and clean up the mess, or something like that, or a troubleshooter to come in and just take people out.
Shoot everyone.
Silencer, get silencer gun and just where's Bruno? He didn't turn up today.
Bad.
That's it. Let's move on. You know, in somewhere. Anyway,
I don't waterboarding. We need waterboarding, Yabba. We need to bring my kitchen rules into the club. If you lose the ball, you get waterboarded.
What's that punishment where they have a tap dripping or something, and it's just supposed to be really
Chinese
painful.
water torture?
Is that where tap drip, or is it on your foot, or is it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's called Chinese water torture.
Okay.
I mean, it interrupts your thinking, and it's meant to be a very horrible, like a horrible process. but there's been a lack of character, a lack of performance. But can we get a lack of notch?
Yeah, I was watching the Rear Window before we started this.
Oh, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, I was like halfway.
Excellent film.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Acting is a thing that was so brilliant back in the day. That's why I don't like modern films. The acting is really poor. You got to get into the character and everything else. This is only 3 or 4 characters in this film. It's just brilliant acting, and this is what makes these classic films all the best. So I'm going to get back to watching The Rear Window.
This is how you unwind after being on a bit of Hitchcock.
Yeah. I was going to watch Psycho, but I thought, no, I don't want to get any ideas of losing it out.
Driving up to Manchester. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to see you in your van flying up to Manchester to be chasing the team coach down.
Who we got next, by the way? Who we got next? Is it Boxing Day? Do we have a game?
I think we've got Newcastle. So.
We've got Newcastle. We've got Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal. We're gonna listen, man.
So let's leave it there, man. That's too much.
You know what, guys? Look, rather than we depress ourselves, look, it's just like a notch, isn't it?
Yeah, like a notch.
Like a notch.
No, we gotta start. Oh yeah, we can do it, and like a notch from me.
Thank you.